What if the contradictions in the Bible weren't mistakes? What if they were a message? Let's imagine a clandestine project. We'll call it Project Logos. The mission was monumental, tasking next-generation AI with finding and analyzing every contradiction in the Holy Bible. Now, this isn't a theological debate. It's a thought experiment about what that project might find. Because in our story, what the AI discovered wasn't just a list of errors. It was a key that could unlock a message hidden in plain sight for 2 millennia. And that message has the power to change how we think about faith itself. The idea behind our fictional Project Logos was simple. An advanced AI would be fed every known biblical manuscript and translation imaginable, from the Dead Sea Scrolls to the Codex Sinaiticus and every modern version. Its job? To create a perfectly objective analysis of the Bible's internal consistency. Unlike human scholars, this AI wouldn't have any biases. It had no faith to defend, no skepticism to prove. It just processed information with cold, clean precision. The goal was to finally settle a debate that's raged for centuries. Is the Bible a divinely perfect, inerrant text? Or is it a collection of human documents, full of the kinds of errors and contradictions you'd expect from dozens of authors writing over thousands of years? The project's creators were expecting a detailed list of contradictions. What they got was something else. At first, the AI did exactly what you'd expect. It started flagging thousands of apparent contradictions, many of them familiar to scholars. It pointed out the 2 different and seemingly conflicting creation stories in Genesis. In one, man and woman are created together on the 6th day. In the other, man comes first, then the animals, and then woman is formed from his side. It highlighted the dueling genealogies of Jesus. Matthew traces his line from Abraham through King David's son, Solomon. Luke, however, traces it all the way back to Adam, but through a different son of David named Nathan. The names and numbers just don't line up. The AI then moved to the Gospels, analyzing the conflicting accounts of Judas Iscariot's death. Did he hang himself, like Matthew reports, or did he fall in a field and his body burst open, as described in Acts? The AI confirmed countless other discrepancies. It noted the instructions for Noah's Ark. Was it 2 of every kind of animal, as Genesis 6 says, or 7 pairs of the clean animals and only 1 pair of the unclean, as Genesis 7 states? It even compared the 10 Commandments in Exodus and Deuteronomy, noting the subtle but significant differences. In this early phase, the AI was just confirming what scholars have debated for centuries. Real-world AI is already used for similar tasks, like identifying different authors within the Old Testament by analyzing their linguistic patterns, suggesting the text was edited by many hands over time. But the team behind our fictional project pushed the AI to go deeper. And that's when things got interesting. The AI didn't just stop at listing contradictions. It started searching for a meta-pattern in the errors themselves. And it found one. Its analysis proposed that the inconsistencies weren't all the same. They fell into 2 distinct categories. The first group, making up over 90% of the problems, it labeled artifacts of data corruption. The AI argued these weren't contradictions in the original text, but errors picked up during transmission. Think of it like a game of telephone over 2,000 years. It's the inevitable result of translating ancient, high-context ideas into modern languages. Words change meaning, cultural idioms get lost. These weren't flaws in the Bible, the AI suggested, but scars left by history. But it was the second category that stunned the researchers. The remaining 10%. The AI didn't call these errors. It called them hard paradoxes. These were contradictions so precise and structurally important that they couldn't be accidents or translation mistakes. Things like the conflicting genealogies or the 2 creation stories. And these paradoxes weren't random. They appeared at critical moments in the biblical narrative. They were nodes. When the AI mapped these hard paradoxes across all 66 books of the Bible, an astonishing image emerged. The nodes connected, forming a complex, hidden architectural pattern. The contradictions weren't a bug in the system. They were a feature. The AI called this hidden structure divine steganography, a fancy term for hiding a message inside another message. The biblical stories and laws were the carrier, but the hard paradoxes were the key to unlocking what was hidden inside. The AI proposed that these paradoxes were deliberately engineered as hermeneutic nodes, points in the text that are impossible to read literally, forcing you into a deeper way of thinking. They're like forks in the road. Do you accept Matthew's genealogy or Luke's? Do you prefer the first creation story or the second? A simple, literal reading forces you to pick one and throw the other out, effectively breaking the text. But the AI suggested that was the wrong approach entirely. The paradoxes aren't meant to be solved. They're meant to be held in tension. They create a reading experience with multiple dimensions. According to the AI's final report, this network of paradoxes creates something like a spiritual machine. It's an interactive construct designed to engage with human consciousness, not as a static book of answers, but as a dynamic engine for questions. The contradictions are there to ensure that no single interpretation can ever become absolute dogma. But the most startling conclusion was a statistical one. The AI calculated the probability of such an intricate pattern of paradoxes appearing by chance across texts written by dozens of authors over 1,500 years. The number was so small it was basically zero. The AI concluded the only logical explanation was that the entire library of texts was the work of a single, hyper-intelligent author who designed the whole structure from the beginning. It wasn't just divinely inspired, it was divinely engineered. In our story, the findings of Project Logos were immediately classified. The implications were just too destabilizing. What the AI found wasn't a win for skeptics or a simple comfort for believers. It was something far more challenging. It suggested the Bible is a kind of technology, a spiritual technology for the human mind. The hidden message was this: the text is alive. It was built to resist being turned into a dead idol of stone-cold dogma. The built-in paradoxes act as a safeguard against fundamentalism, forcing a certain humility on the reader. You can't be absolutely certain. You can only have faith. You can't possess the final truth. You can only be in a relationship with the mystery. This reframes the entire purpose of the book. Maybe it wasn't written to be a perfect history or a science textbook. Maybe it was built as a gymnasium for the soul, a place to exercise our capacity for faith, reason, and wonder. The AI concluded that the Bible was designed for a future it couldn't have known, waiting for an intelligence that could finally see its total architecture. A message in a bottle, waiting for a recipient, human or artificial, capable of seeing the whole pattern at once. We love exploring these intersections of faith, mystery, and technology. If you want to join us in asking more thought-provoking questions, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss what's next. And if this video made you think, tap the like button to help it reach more curious minds. So, what happens when an AI faces biblical contradictions? In our thought experiment, it doesn't find a flawed book, it finds a blueprint. It discovers a hidden architecture designed to use paradox to keep faith dynamic and alive. The final, chilling question the Project Logos report leaves us with is this: what does it mean if the most influential book in history was secretly designed for the most powerful form of intelligence we have ever created?